Am I the a-hole for not letting my friend join my vacation? So, my boyfriend and I have decided to finally go on vacation next month before I quit my job. My friend asked if she could go with us because she's never been to Baltimore before. I told her no because this is something special between my boyfriend that we have been planning for a long time. That and, with her and I working at the same place, it would be difficult for her to even get the days off to come with me. By this point my friend was just trying to make excuses for her to come with us. She even tried suggesting just driving there and back after a day because, you're only 4 hours away, we can drive back home in time. Once again, I told her no. I personally also don't want her coming along because she always tries to start fights with my boyfriend anytime he makes a joke towards me. I told her she always joins in on trips I plan and that I just want some alone time with my boyfriend on this trip. Ever since I told her no, she hardly talks to me and even blocked me on her phone. So, am I the a-hole for not letting her join my vacation?
Number 2.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my parents my address? I, 24 years old, am one of 2 kids. My older sister, 28 years old, was the golden child, and honestly I feel bad for her. My sister was a prodigy, she skipped 3 grades, was gifted in both academia and athleticism. And my parents made her life hell. Her schedule was full: school, extracurriculars, sports, music lessons, dance lessons, etc. When I was very young I was jealous of her, then I turned 10 and started feeling really bad for her. She wasn't allowed friends, as they would hold her back, free time, as she could have the rest of her life to enjoy after finishing medical school, or even the freedom to choose her future career or her own hobbies, as it was all planned for her to maximize her chances to get into Harvard for pre-med, and then Johns Hopkins for med school. When she graduated high school, at 15 almost 16, my parents uprooted us, because they couldn't allow her to go to college on her own, so we left Virginia to go to Massachusetts. I resented them so bad then, but I felt even more sympathy towards my sister, because for years she has been dreaming about finally having some freedom while in college. They continued with their intense control over her life. I graduated high school back in 2016. Then in 2018 I left the whole country, that was how much I hated them. I moved to France, went to school here, and am currently working here. When my sister got into med school, they still maintained their controlling attitude. Then sadly in late 2019, she suffered a drug-induced psychotic break. To this day she is still institutionalized because it developed into full-on schizophrenia. When all their hopes they had hung on her ended in nothing, since because of them she started taking drugs because of how stifling they were, they tried to do the same to me. Sadly for them, I was already a self-sufficient adult on the other side of an ocean, and they had no control over me. They are my sister's legal guardians, so I couldn't cut them off as they are exactly the type of people who would limit my contact with her. And lately they have been pestering me to give them my address. Apparently, they want to visit me and get to know my boyfriend. I refused, and keep refusing. But I also feel a bit of guilt. Them knowing my address does not mean that they would be dropping in every weekend, they live in a completely different country, and my refusal is making my mom very sad. Also I have a lot of friends telling that it is unreasonable. So, am I the a-hole?
Number 3. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend to mind her own business and keep her nose out of my friends' lives? My girlfriend, 29, and I, 30, have been together for 4 years. We met through a mutual friend, so we have a lot of friends in common. But we both also have our own friend circles that we had before we met. My girlfriend is big on empathy, but also loves gossip and relationship drama. It's like a drug to her. When she gets together with her gossipy friends with new tea to spill, it's like chum in the water to sharks. They aren't necessarily mean or judgmental, but I do find it odd that they spend so much time talking about other people's lives. A couple years ago, a longtime friend of mine was going through a rough patch with his longtime girlfriend. I will admit that their relationship was probably toxic and they weren't good for each other, but outside of telling my friend that I'm there for him if he needs anything, I stayed out of it. Not my girlfriend though. As soon as she saw signs of problems in their relationship, she started to seek out my friend's girlfriend to talk with her. She told me it was to make sure that my friend was hurting his girlfriend in any way. Well, she must have dished gossip to some other friends, because pretty soon my friend called me out that people were talking about him in a bad way. I confronted my girlfriend about it, and she said she was concerned about my friend's girlfriend and just wanted to make sure everything was okay. So she asked some other people if they were concerned too. Well, turns out there was reason for concern, but not because of my friend. His girlfriend was hurting him, and he was too ashamed to talk about it. But by the time that came out, his name had already been dragged through the mud, and he cut me and a lot of our other friends out of his life. Right now, I have another friend who is engaged, and they postponed their wedding because they are having issues and are in counseling. My girlfriend told me she wants to talk to my friend's fiancé, and I told her to mind her own business and to stay out of it. I told her she already cost me one friendship with her meddling, and I don't want her to do that again. She said that was different, but I don't think it is. I told her that if she wants to gossip about her friends, she can do that all day. But when it comes to my friends, she needs to keep her nose out of their business, because she only does more harm than good. I caught her on the phone talking to a friend of hers about how I am forbidding her from trying to make sure my friend's fiancé is okay and that she is just concerned about her. I didn't even let her hang up the phone. I just yelled at her that her meddling in other people's lives is effed up, and she needs to find an effing hobby that doesn't involve ruining people's lives and friendships. She got mad at me and called me a controlling a-hole. She said that men don't understand how women need to look out for each other, and she is just trying to be a good friend. I brought up my friend who cut me off and asked if she was a good friend in that situation, and she called me an a-hole again. Am I the a-hole? Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to stay tuned for our next episode of Am I the A-Hole?